Young lady has some questions to ask, Professor. I think she's from France.
Professor Roubillier.
Eh? What? You two know each other, do you? Excuse me, the telephone.
We meet again.
Mademoiselle, France, eh?
Yes, I believe that's where you live, Professor.
I have a house there, on the outskirts of Paris, but I haven't been back for many months.
What can you tell me about the Jaguar Stone, Professor?
It's obsidian, from the Chichen Itza region.
Professor Roubillier, your taxi's here.
If you'll excuse me, I have some urgent business to attend to at the docks.
Can you answer me some questions about the Jaguar Stone?
Certainly, miss. If you just step this way. It's gone. Some sods half-inched it.
Half-inched?
Stolen it, miss. Never mind. The silent alarm will have been tripped. I'm afraid nobody can leave until our crack security team gets here.
How long will that take?
Could be a while. I think it's their tea break.
The thief could be miles away by then.
Don't you worry about that, miss. Just don't try to leave.
It was too much of a coincidence that Roubillier showed up and the stone promptly disappeared. I didn't have time for their crack security team to finish that tea. I had to get after him.
I'm really enjoying this. I like how the story unfolded here. It's very thrilling, and I really want to get out of this museum and follow Roubillier, that Professor Roubillier. Really bad. The way this whole thing transpired vibes incredibly well with me. Sometimes the way a storyline unfolds. Okay, so the storyline unfolded, and the puzzle now is for me to somehow escape from the museum so that I can track down and see what that Professor Roubillier is about, because I know he stole the stone. So the puzzle is escaping from this museum, because I'm basically under arrest for being a suspect of stealing the sink, as is everyone else here, the women here, everyone. That's really enthralling to me. I gotta escape here, and I really want to, because the reason I want to escape is so powerful. So something right was done here. Something good, something very well designed happened here to not only make me very desirous to solve the puzzle of escaping here, but also the motivation to solve the puzzle for escaping is so powerful. Those two things. Because usually what happens is one of those two things is not that powerful.
One of these things is not like the other things.
Either I don't really care about solving the puzzle because it's just not exciting, or I don't want to solve the puzzle because the reward for solving it is just not that exciting. But right now, both of those are so powerful. I'm really excited to do it. I can't wait to figure out how to escape here. That's some good game design, and that's something I need to take into consideration when I'm making my game. Now, is it possible to have every single puzzle be this exciting and have the reward for solving it just as exciting? I don't know, but it would be a good model to shoot for, a good objective to have with every puzzle and story scenario that you design. I find another design element that I have not witnessed before, I have not been aware of before in adventure games. When I go to engage This attendant, I'm going to say this attendant is, he is the key to progressing the storyline. It does not matter how much I interact with all these artifacts and all these different things in the environment. I can interact with these artifacts a million times. Nothing will happen to the progression of the storyline. Everything relies on this guy. The conversations that I have will the conversations that I have with this guy will progress the storyline. But right now, when I engage him,
Can I help you, miss?
I only have one option, which is talking about the very guy that brought me here.
Have you ever heard of an English sea captain called El Draco?
El Draco? Not a very English name.
I think that's what the Spanish would have called him. It was about the time of the conquistadors.
16th century. Oh, I know. That's what the Spanish called Sir Francis Drake.
Francis Drake? Have you got anything here that belonged to him?
Indeed, miss. We have a couple of artifacts he brought back from one of his journeys.
Thank you. You've been most helpful.
So, this initial conversation gives me a clue to now explore and see what artifacts are from him. Now, I already know what those artifacts are. It's this one.
It was a small, flat square of polished obsidian. Nothing like the one I was looking for. According to the caption, this was the scrying mirror given to Dr. John Dee by Sir Francis Drake.
And this one.
It was a stone identical in size and style to the coyote stone. However, this stone bore the image of a jaguar.
Now that I have interacted with those two items, I have two new conversation topics available with this guy. The scrying mirror, which was this one over here, and the jaguar stone, which was one far by these Japanese tourists. The engagement of these conversations will now progress the story to the next step. Will now lead me to the next puzzle that I need to solve to progress the story further. So this man acts as the central, the focal point of progressing the story. And by interacting with these objects, I unlock the keys to progressing the story through conversation with him. So it's almost, it is, you could say it's a puzzle, but you could say it's a very simple, requiring nothing but just the simple desire to explore, to solve type of puzzle. Because I can't continue the story just by talking to him. I first have to interact with all the items here, not knowing which one will access me, will be the ones that I'm looking for. But I just explore. So it's a way to instigate exploration from the gamer, and I think that's incredibly important and something I did not pick up on from a design point of view. So I think that's why these are called adventure games, because they're designed to promote adventurous tendencies, one of them being exploring. They have all these other options. I can interact with so many other things, but the only things that will progress a story are those two things that I showed you. So it is linear in that it doesn't matter what else I do, but it keeps it open for me to explore. I can do anything I want, and they give me many options, and it's really interesting and fascinating, and there's some opportunities for the character to express her personality and to crack a few jokes if possible, depending what her personality is. But at the end of the line, it's simply I need to interact with these things, and then I can engage him for further inquiries about these objects, which will then lead to interactions with further characters, and then building up of a scenario that will require me, that will put forth a puzzle that I need to solve to further the story. So if I were to break it down, this guy is the focal point. He is what allows the story to further progress, but I need to solve a mini exploration puzzle of interacting with all these objects before he will allow it to happen.
I didn't steal the stone. I was nowhere near it.
So who do you suppose did steal it?
It must have been the Japanese girls.
Did you see them touch the cabinet?
Not exactly. But they're laughing about something.
All girls giggle, especially Japanese ones.
This is... I don't know how to assimilate this into my whole critique of game design, because it is contradictory, not in design principle, but in story development. But that contradiction itself could be humorous or satirical if that's a purpose. Right now, I am under arrest, but not in me particular, but just because I am a possible suspect to a crime. The crime being this thing was stolen, but I need to escape. And how do I escape? But I take the key that the criminal used to steal that thing. I walk over here and I steal this thing.
The key?
In plain view. I take this key to think that this guy over here did not see that is ludicrous. Then I take the key, show it to this guy that clearly saw me take it from this cabinet and use it over there to steal that dagger. I just steal that dagger. Show him the key.
Look at this. The thief left this.
Oh dear.
Well, and the conversation occurs where he's like, shoot, inside job, must call the police, while he's distracted by calling the police.
Hello?
I knew I had not.
Yes, hello.
But I had.
I use the object that I stole.
I wasn't going to leave until I knew where Oublié had gone.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's so annoying. Well, anyways, I was going to use the object that I stole to unlock the door to escape from a place that was accusing me of stealing things. But the reason I have not been able to do that yet is because there's a part of the conversation with this guy over here where I figure out where the actual thief went, the Professor Oublié. I figured out where he went. And I have not engaged in that part of the conversation with him. So I haven't figured out that information yet, so I can't leave. Wow, there are so many extenuating circumstances to the solution of a puzzle.